Welcome into First Pitch for Thursday, May 4th. I am Drew Martin, joined by Marco D'Angelo, Brian Leonard, and JM Sports himself, Jeff Michaels. WagerTalk.com, guys. We got a quick show for you on the Thursday card. Not many games left. Early slate here for Thursday. A short card, getaway day, if you want to call it that, for the big weekend. But we'll start off here in our leadoff spot. Marco D'Angelo. Marco, I'm seeing you with the Toronto Blue Jays here and the Boston Red Sox. This is the nightcap, 6:10 Eastern, 3:10 Pacific here. We get Gausman and Bayo. We're seeing the Blue Jays minus 165 is the road favorite, 8.5 the total. I'll tell you, Marco, I've been on the Jays the last couple nights, man. It's been frustrating. I don't know if they can turn it around. What are you looking to do here in Fenway?
Well, you look at this one, and there's been a lot of runs scored in Fenway during this series, and that's been the case most of the year involving Boston with their pitching staff. But they finally did put a 5-game winning streak together. Boston did. But I'm going to look at this game a little bit differently, Drew. And I'm not going to take Toronto for the full game, but I'm going to look at a first 5-inning wager. A couple reasons. One, as I said, neither bullpen has been very good in this series. But when I look at the starting pitching in this one, and that's why I like, so many of my plays end up being first 5-inning wagers, is because I want to go man against man, and it's starting pitching. And when you look at these two starters right now, it's an absolute mismatch. You've got Gausman, who's had 5 starts. 4 of the 5, he's given up 3 runs or less. 3 of those games, he gave up 0 or 1 run, especially looking at his last 2 games. He pitched 2 absolute gems. He pitched against Seattle at home and at Yankee Stadium. Went 7 innings in both games, did not allow a run in either game. And for me, what I look at when a pitcher's got all of his stuff working, he's got full command of his pitches, look at his strikeout to walk ratio. It doesn't get any better than this one for Gausman. 24 strikeouts to just 1 walk in his last 14 innings pitched. I'm going to look at Toronto. I'm going to lay a half a run first 5 innings to get the price down on this game. But I think the Blue Jays get it done over 5 innings. You look at Bello; he has not been good. He's got an ERA of 6.5 this year and a WHIP of 1.86. I don't see him out dueling Gausman.
I like the breakdown there, Marco, at the top here. Yeah, strikeout to walk ratio, man. Pretty crazy out the gate. We got JM Sports batting in the 2-hole here, Jeff, and I'm seeing you. What big game breakdown going? Same game here, but some props that you have circled.
Yeah, Marco said it. There's been a lot of runs scored out of this Boston team, especially at Fenway, coming out of both sides. And I got my eye on 2 guys here for Boston. I'm staying away from the side because, I do think that there's a potential that Toronto's due after a couple bad games or a couple bad losses to start this series. But Masataka Yoshida, I looked at him yesterday. I used him yesterday on this hits, runs, and RBIs. And I'm going back to him today at 1.5, sitting at minus 115. He's running an impressive hitting streak, 13 straight games now. And of those 13, he's gone over this 1.5 number in 12 out of 13 of them. He's hitting 431 over that stretch, 15 RBIs. He's got 10 runs scored himself. So even if it is beyond that 5th inning, Toronto's bullpen has struggled. It took him a little longer yesterday to get there, but he got all the way up to 5 after he got 2 hits, 2 RBIs, and a run scored last night. So I like him going over 1.5, and I do have my eye on Justin Turner too, because he's had some success against Gausman. He's 5 of 14 in his career, batting .357, but 2 of those 5 hits have been for home runs and 4 RBIs. So he's somebody to keep an eye on, maybe a home run prop there, or looking at the 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. But I do like Yoshida going over that number today.
Like it, Jeff. Guys, we got big game breakdown here, best bets as well. Huge shout out to the chat box, everybody joining us live. Abel in the house, Sean Evans as well. We got Trey saying, good afternoon, guys. Thoughts on rolling with the Marlins after getting blown out yesterday? Worked out for other teams this season this far. He's pointing towards that kind of bounce back mode. Of course, it's Atlanta and in Miami here. And we actually have a best bet from Jeff, which we'll get to. So we'll be be able to answer your question in best bets, actually. And again, guys, just a short show here, quick slate for the Thursday card, but we do have best bets coming up. And Bryan Leonard, check him out, WagerTalk.com, NHL and MLB. He's been good for quite some time here at WagerTalk. So, Bryan, hey, man, I'll throw it over to you. The floor is yours. If you got any kind of final thoughts here for the show and where you're heading for best bets.
Yeah, I was going to talk about the Toronto-Boston game also because we do have a limited card here. I do want to point out that Bryan Bell has been a strict ground ball pitcher right now. 57.9% of his hits against him have been ground balls, so and he hasn't given up many fly balls. So maybe the offense doesn't come through as much as you would like in that game. Also, a lot of these games, and I talked about this the other day, we're dealing with weather concerns. All the late games, the Milwaukee-Colorado game, 83% chance of rain. The Seattle-Oakland game, 40%. The Blue Jays-Red Sox, 24%. The only game that doesn't have to worry about rain is the Miami game because you're playing in a dome. But, yeah, I'm passed in baseball today. I do have a 5% series play, adjusted series play up in hockey. We won last night on the Golden Knights. Hockey's been our specialty the last 6 years, and we've done very well in that regard. But a big 5% play on adjusted lines for the series, so that's up right now. I'm going to take a look at a baseball game that, since we've got only 4 games to talk about, I am going to look to fade the Seattle starting pitcher today. When you take a look at Kirby, he's been terrific so far, no doubt about it. But when you break down the teams he's faced, he started the year, his first outing was against the Angels. Angels roughed him up pretty well. They've got a good hitting team. He gave up 4 earned runs, 4 1/3 innings. But since that time, he faced the Cleveland Guardians in Cleveland. We all know how the Guardians have struggled offensively. He faced Colorado Rockies, the road Colorado Rockies, totally different than the home Colorado Rockies. He's faced the St. Louis Cardinals, who are once again getting their butt kicked again today. This Cardinal team has not been very good offensively. And then he did face the Phillies the other day, his last outing, and pitched very well. I think, I'm not a big fan of the Oakland team at all when it comes to their pitching and their bullpen, so I'm not going to play that. But I think Oakland could get some runs against him here. You take a look at the splits on the season, the WRC plus. Seattle's a 93, which is 7% worse than league average. Oakland's a 93. So the batting is the same for both of these teams here. So you're laying big money here on the pitching matchup, and I can't disagree with it from the Oakland standpoint. I don't want Oakland starting pitchers or their bullpen, but I think this offense can score a little bit. You're taking right now, you're getting better than even money by playing them over 1.5 runs in the first 5 innings. If you watch that game last night, Oakland was about to win that game and they blew it. The bullpen blew it late. But I think they're going to have success here against Kirby. Kirby's pitching over his head right now, and this Oakland offense is better than what they have shown. As I said, 93 on the WRC plus, not good, but just as good as the Seattle team has been. So I'm going to play that over 1.5, first 5 for the Oakland A's.
Bryan Leonard, WagerTalk.com. He's got that 5% NHL adjusted series play up and available right now. And guys, remember, it's half off Thursday. So getting it 50% off there. Bryan Leonard, #1 in NHL net profit the past 5+ seasons. He's also on a 17-13 MLB run. So whether it be on the diamond or on the ice, Bryan Leonard seeing it well, and half off his 5% series play there. In the NHL, we got Marco D'Angelo, guys. Speaking of seeing it well, 17-5, 4% best bets in April. Of course, in May now, 76% winners, 22-7 run on those 4% MLB game of the week. It is up and available here, Marco. I'm seeing it half off for Thursday. So NHL, you got a long-term winning track record as well. Anything else you want to throw out there for your final thoughts? And what do you got for best bet, Marco?
Just remind the listeners that Saturday is the Kentucky Derby, and we'll have coverage of the Kentucky Derby with our Saturday selections. We have it all tied into one package. And if you use coupon code KD10, you can get $10 off that package, but you have to purchase it before Saturday to get that $10 discount. So check that out over at my website. What we've got going for the best bet today, we're going to take a look at the Milwaukee Colorado game. And yeah, Milwaukee's on a 3-game losing streak, and they haven't scored any runs at all this week. 3 games. Last 3 games, they've scored a grand total of 3 runs in 3 games. Not exactly what you want to look at when you're trying to back a team, but I think they're going to wake up today. A couple reasons. First, they're going to be facing starter for Colorado, Connor Seabold. Since he's got called up, he's worked exclusively out of the bullpen. He's worked 13 2/3 innings of work so far this season for Colorado, and he's got a 5.27 ERA. I think that's just what Milwaukee needs to wake those bats up. And he's had control issues as well. He's got a high whip going with that ERA. On the flip side, looking at Milwaukee here, Wade Miley goes for them, and he has just been, he's pitching better than I have always given him credit for. And I know a lot of the advanced metrics guys, don't like him as much, but you can't argue with the fact that over the last 2 seasons, when he's been installed as a favorite, his team is 16-3 in his starts. All they do is win when he's on the mound. I'm going to go ahead and look at him. He's had 5 starts this year. He's allowed 3 runs or less in all 5. In 3 of those, he gave up 0 or 1 run. Another stat on Milwaukee, this is a day game. Milwaukee this season, 8-5 in day games, while Colorado just 3-7 in day games. So I'm going to go ahead and take the advantage there with Milwaukee and make that my best bet for the show.
Great analysis there, Marco. And guys, he's 8-2 this week. Marco, we've been taking more questions on First Pitch. We got one here for Jeff. I got one for you. I remember, I don't know if it was last year, 2 years. Actually, I think it was when we were doing videos in PBS in Las Vegas. Okay. And you were giving analysis on the Kentucky Derby. And you brought up something of in the Kentucky Derby, there's more horses, and therefore they bring out like more, I don't know what the word is, but the things that hold the horses before the horses go. Okay. So it's like an advantage to bet the horses where those 2 things are together because there's a little bit more room. Do you still kind of jump on that angle for the Kentucky Derby? You think that's a good one?
Yeah, they've actually changed the starting gate some because what was happening is they were horses that drew the post 1 were just in trouble because all of the horses coming from the outside are trying to get to the rail, and he gets buried at the rail. So what they did is they made a special gate, took away that gap, and let the gate set a little bit further from the guardrail inside. So the one has a little bit more room coming out of there. But yeah, the Kentucky Derby, 20 horses every year, Drew. It is what we like to refer to as a plus EV sporting event because there's so much dead money in the Kentucky Derby. Remember, unlike sports betting, you're not betting against the casino. You're betting against other people betting the Kentucky Derby. And like the Super Bowl or any other special event, Indy 500 or the Masters, golf tournament, when it's an event like that, people that don't bet the sport all year want to be a part of watching the event. So they bet. And they don't know what they're doing. So all that does is inflate the betting pools for guys that have a little bit of knowledge. You're taking a bigger piece of the pie. I know Brian can relate to that. I always explain to him is, think of a pie and you got a lot of people putting ingredients in that pie, but everybody's not going to eat, only the smart guys. And I like to consider myself one of those smart guys in the horse industry. And I'm going to take a nice slice of that pie on Saturday, hopefully.
Absolutely. At Marco in Vegas on Twitter, guys, check them out, WagerTalk.com there. And Marco, I just follow up to that. What was the coupon before Saturday that the watchers can use?
Yeah, KD10. That's KD and 10. You can use it on my package and our other horse guy at WagerTalk, Sig. He's got his Kentucky Oaks package and Kentucky Derby package together. You get everything in one package with him, and you can use that same coupon for him as well.
Yeah, Sig knows it. Marco been cashing in multiple Kentucky Derbies in the past, guys. So check it out. Kentucky Derby going on Saturday. Marco, as you can see here, guys, at Wager Talk NBA, he's been winning over the last 120, 17-5 run again, guys, on those 4%. He's got one going tonight. 4% best bet, and then the Kentucky Derby this weekend on Saturday. Marco D'Angelo, going to want to check him out there. We got JM Sports now at WagerTalk.com. Congrats, Jeff, making the move over. I've seen a best bet here on the Atlanta-Miami game. I'll let you break that down. And remember the question from Trey. Good afternoon, guys. Thoughts on rolling with the Marlins after getting blown out yesterday? Worked out with other teams this season this far. I'm also seeing a change in pitcher here, Jeff. So just keep that in mind if you're betting in action or listed. I'll throw it over to you, though, man. Any final thoughts here for the show? And what do you got for best bets?
Yeah, thanks, Drew. For the first time, guys, like he said, I got a 5% play actually up today that you still got time to go bet in MLB. It's one of the couple games that are still on the card. But over the last 30 days, number one in profit over at Sports Memo on those 5% plays. And I got my first one over at Wager Talk up for sale, 50% off over there today. But in regards to that question, Miami's not going to be the team I'm backing to bounce back in this situation. They're 3-8 in the last 2 years at home when they've allowed 5 or more runs in back-to-back games. So I do like Atlanta here for my best bet. I believe, Drew, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that pitching change that you mentioned was Max Fried going over to Dodd.
Yeah.
And if it is still, okay, then it is still Dodd. He's only made 2 starts this year, but his road start that he did make was an impressive start. He went 5 innings. He only gave up 1 earned run on 6 hits. It was against that struggling St. Louis team, but Miami's offense, hasn't been as great as we thought they may be. They have one of the best batting averages against lefties, but their OPS and their WRC plus does fall. And Atlanta's one of the few teams that are actually better against lefties in the league. I mean, they're going against Luzardo on the other side. They're 7-1 this season on the road against lefties. They've won 6 straight, and they're winning those games by over 4 runs per game. So it's really not even close. And the other big thing that stands out to me here between these two teams is the play against the division specifically. I mean, Atlanta just this year alone is already 9-3 against the division. They're averaging over 6.5 runs. And Miami is 5-11 against the division. They're hitting just 233. They're putting up 3 runs and they're allowing over 6. But you take that back a little farther, last 3 years, they're just 6-15 against Atlanta. So I normally do like that bounce back spot, but Atlanta, especially slipping into that underdog role here with that pitching change, I like them playing that underdog role. I like them going against a lefty against the division, and they're 14-3 on the road. So I do like Atlanta here tonight to pull off another one in this series.
All right, in the fish tank, going with the Braves there as the surprising underdog. And guys, for my best bet, you can see it there, Colorado plus 139. Don't like going up against Marco, but it is what it is, guys. Not many plays left, so we give the analysis, you decide, and it's pretty much, Colorado at home, better bet. They've won 3 straight up against Milwaukee, who's lost 3 straight. So kind of ride the hot, fade the cold. It's the way I'm looking at it. Hey, if you like the other side, Milwaukee, Marco told you about it, minus 145. Also note here, guys, with this game, good one to check out the Wager Talk live odds screen, 15-cent difference depending what book you're shopping at. So make sure to check that out before placing your bet. Bryan Leonard, Oakland, first 5 team total over 1.5 plus 105 plus money on that team total. And Jeff Michaels, just heard it there, down in the fish tank in South Florida. Atlanta, near pick'em price, minus 105. So that's going to do it for the show. Quick show here for the Thursday slate, short slate. Make sure to check out Marco. He's got that 4% best bet at and that huge run. Bryan Leonard, 5% best bet up on the series play, as well as Jeff Michaels, 5% are up, all at wagertalk.com. Half off Thursday, guys. So check it out, 50% off. Why not take advantage? That's going to do it for the show. We'll be back tomorrow, 2 o'clock Eastern for the Friday slate. If you're liking the content, please smash that like button. Feel free to reply below with any questions. We'll hit them on tomorrow's show. That does it, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Cash those tickets.
Have you checked out all the new handicappers at WagerTalk? If not, here's your chance. You can take 50% off your first daily or 3-day all-access purchase at WagerTalk using coupon code TRYWT. Our new roster of experts is 30 deep, covering sports from all around the world, giving you tons of options to choose from. All you have to do to redeem this offer is go to WagerTalk.com, choose a handicapper of your choice, and use coupon code TRYWT at checkout, saving 50% on your first purchase.